seriously, Shakti Parvakar, when she was that 40 years old, and we were 20, 22, 23, she took on this entire organization. There was one center, of course, because Yogi Bhajan was doing all of the teaching. And so everything that has sprung up from that entire event, with over 1,500 centers around the world and over 400 teacher training programs in 15 languages, it all got started because she was working. She was working a full-time job, and then she would get off work, and then she would do all of what Yogi Bhajan needed her to do. And that's how 3HO got started. It was before, obviously, before computers. And so she would type, and it was before Xerox machines too, so then she would get someplace where they could photocopy it. And so just to give you a sense of who that person that we were just listening to is, and how special she is to all of us. And he called her the mother of 3HO because it was truly her that gave birth to all of those capacities. Because like she said, he had no knowledge of anything except he was a master of so many things, but he definitely wasn't the master of Los Angeles. And so she was able to get him around Los Angeles and get it all started. And in those early days, we were about 150 to 200 of what she called hippies, present company not included. No matter where we would go, we would be a phenomenon. And Yogi Bhajan would teach in yoga centers, he would teach in the park, he would teach all around Kirtan Singh. Could you come on up and share a story or two? Siri Brosa.
Yes.
Are you into speaking? Share a story or two? Now, this is my good brother Kirtan Singh, and you didn't bring your accordion.
Uh-oh.
I told you.
Nothing sounds like an accordion with mantra. He was one of those accordion players that kept his accordion.
Yeah, right.
Go ahead.
Satnam, everybody.
Satnam.
Grateful to be here tonight. It's a great celebration. I love the question. Was it Sid that asked? What was it about the Surya Singh Sahib, Yogi Bhajan, that impacted you? And I think Shakti hit the nail right on the head. It was his ability to connect with people. We sat in this room many, many nights, and he would teach here. And there was one night in particular where I was just going through something. It was very internal, very personal, and didn't talk about it to anybody. Nobody knew anything. I can't even remember what it was. But at that time, it was pretty important to me, and it was getting me down, whatever it was again. And I was in this room, and I did class like I did so many nights, and I was out in the front there. And just in passing, he walks up and he says, "It's going to be all right, Kirtan." And it's like, he had no reason to say that to me other than he saw what was going on in my aura and made a point of acknowledging that and just sharing those words. And so his ability to connect with you was just unparalleled. I've never met, I know I'll never meet anybody who could do that. And yet, the amazing thing about it is that he's connecting with all of you. And I hear these stories all the time. And, people just talk about him coming to them in dreams and stuff. He comes in dreams sometimes. But I've gotten more messages from him since he's left his body from people who he's told to tell me to do this or do that. And that's how it's working now. He doesn't come, he tells them to tell me. So he's still here, he's still, there's something about his presence that I think is phenomenal. I have the personal belief that the stories of him are only beginning to unfold and how he's, connecting with people. And it's because we had a lecture yesterday at Guru Ram Das Ashram that said, you're nothing until you can make your infinity your priority. And, that takes it completely out of the realm of, religion. It just puts it right in it, right at the center of you. So, are you connecting with your infinity, and is that your priority in your life? And so all he did is he traveled and he taught, and he inspired, as Shakti said, everybody to bring that out. And that was the story. And it was a story every day, 20 hours a day with him. If you were around him at all, he was the ultimate, energized being. He just never stopped. And he never stopped because he had that drive to uplift people. That was his passion, was to uplift. And so, his teachings to us, and his whole thing was, it's not about you bowing to me, it's about me getting it into you in any way that I can so that you'll go out and do this. And so he wants you, to do that. He wants you, and when he said that we would be 10 times greater than he meant that, we all have that within us to be that great, So, and that was the beauty of it, is that he would never dumb us down, or he would never allow our own emotions or whatever we were speaking to. He wouldn't buy any of that. He'd always say, no, you're here, and it was always, way higher than you ever thought you could be. And so that's where we are today, and that's who he was, and that's the story.
It's really interesting. My brain's going a mile a minute now. Which story? What should I say? I was just really blessed to be his nurse. I went with him to the hospitals and within all his surgeries and this and that, and was on duty with him and spent a great deal of time with him, day and night. And the blessing was I was ready, and when you're with him all the time, he works on you all the time. And you better be able to take it, because he just wants to smash that ego and get you to humility and get you to know who you are. And I remember one time there were lots of students coming through and talking, and he would say something, and at the end I said, "Sir, people don't really listen." He said, "Well, who do you think you are? It took me 5 years to torture you to get you to listen." Oh, yeah. At the same time, he was just so much fun. Fabulous sense of humor. I mean, in his presence, I just chanted, "What do I know?" And listened and watched and just pinched myself that I was even there. How could I possibly be there? And actually one time when I kept asking him, I'm a registered nurse, but I'm not one of those really sharp ones like Davy and some of these others. They go into intensive care. I wasn't comfortable with machines and all that stuff. He said, "Forget it. You're not a registered nurse, you're a spiritual nurse, and that's why you're with me. So just be quiet." So anyway, I had to think about that for a long time, because I didn't really relate to the other that much. I wasn't so sharp or whatever you want. But anyway, it was pretty amazing. And for myself, if you bring him to be with you, he's with you. You've got to do it. Walk with him. Brush your teeth with him. Do everything with him. Eat with him. Have him sit down. Have him be with you. You've got to invoke him. He's there. He's there for every single person. You're all his students. And it just makes life so much easier. And tell your children, everybody, he's always there. He never went anywhere. That's unbelievably ridiculous. And you don't die anyway, you just keep going, your soul, and just keeps going, and you drop the body. But I just want to tell you, just have a little picture somewhere of him. If you have any questions, you just look over and say, "Okay, sir, what about this?" And you will get it, just like that. Okay, Satnam.